Just imagine it's 7:30 on a Monday morning in Manhattan. I'm standing in line at a tiny coffee shop on the corner of 42nd Street, and I'm nervous. Really nervous. There are 5 people ahead of me, all of them ordering in rapid-fire English that sounds nothing like what I learned in my textbooks back home. Give me a large regular, light and sweet to go. Yeah, I'll take a medium black leave room. Small coffee, 2 sugars, that's it. It's like they're speaking a secret code, and I'm about to blow my cover. Finally, it's my turn. The guy behind the counter looks at me expectantly. My heart is pounding. I clear my throat and say, very carefully, "Hello, I would like to order 1 medium-sized coffee with cream and sugar, please." He stares at me for a second. Then he smiles and says,
"So, a regular?"
In that moment, standing there with a line of impatient New Yorkers behind me, I realized something important. I didn't just need to learn English. I needed to learn their English. And today, I'm going to tell you the story of how I went from that confused tourist to someone who could walk into any cafe or restaurant and order like I'd lived there my whole life. And by the end of this episode, you'll be able to do the same. Let's begin. Welcome to English in Real Life, where we learn English the way people actually speak it, through real stories and real situations. Today's story is about something we all do every single day, ordering food and coffee. But here's the thing, it's never just about the food, is it? It's about connection. It's about feeling like you belong. It's about that moment when you order perfectly and the barista doesn't miss a beat, and you think to yourself, I've got this. Over the next 40 minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey. We'll start in that coffee shop in Manhattan, where I made every mistake possible. Then we'll move to a diner in Texas, where I learned that every region has its own rules. And finally, we'll end up at a fancy restaurant in London, where everything I thought I knew got turned upside down. But this isn't just my story. By living through these moments with me, you'll learn exactly what to say, how to say it, and why it matters. So get comfortable, maybe grab a coffee or tea, and let me tell you what happened next. After that first embarrassing morning, I decided I needed to become a coffee shop anthropologist. For 2 weeks, I went to different cafes every single day. But here's the key. I didn't order right away. I watched. I listened. I took notes on my phone like I was studying for the most important exam of my life. And slowly, patterns started to emerge. There was this woman, probably in her 50s, who came in every morning at 7:45. She'd walk up to the counter, and before she even reached it, the barista would call out, "Large iced coffee, skim milk, 2 Splendas?" She'd nod and smile. You know me too well, Marcus. That's when I learned my first lesson. Simplicity is everything. She didn't say I would like or could I please have. She didn't over-explain. The order was just the order. Then there was this businesswoman in a sharp suit who was always on her phone. She'd walk in, hold up 2 fingers to the barista while still talking on her call, and mouth the word usual. 2 minutes later, she'd grab her drink and leave, never breaking from her conversation. I realized something. In American coffee culture, speed and efficiency are valued. Nobody wants to waste time. The best customers are the ones who know what they want. But my favorite person to watch was this college student, probably 19 or 20. Every single day, he'd order something completely different and insanely complicated. Hey, can I get a venti iced caramel macchiato upside down with oat milk, 2 pumps of vanilla instead of 4, light ice, and can you add an extra shot? The barista would just nod and punch it into the register without missing a beat. That's when I understood my third lesson. Customization is not just accepted, it's expected. Americans don't just order off the menu. They build their perfect drink. Armed with this knowledge, I decided to try again. It was a Friday morning, same coffee shop, different barista. This time, I had a plan. I stepped up to the counter, made eye contact, and said, "Hi, can I get a medium iced coffee with room for cream?" The barista smiled.
"Sure thing. Anything else?"
"That's it, thanks."
$4.25.
I handed over $5. "Keep the change." As I walked out with my coffee, I felt like I'd just won a gold medal. It wasn't just about the coffee. It was about the fact that I'd had a smooth, normal interaction. I hadn't stumbled. I hadn't over-explained. I'd done it like a local. But I still didn't understand all the shortcuts people were using. So I did something bold. I started asking. One morning, I was standing next to a construction worker at the counter. He ordered a large regular to go, and I noticed the barista automatically added cream and sugar. After we both got our drinks, I turned to him. "Excuse me, can I ask you something? What does regular mean?" He laughed. "You're not from here, are you?" "Not even close. Regular means cream and sugar already in it. That's just how we do it in New York. You want it black, you gotta say black." Otherwise, they'll make it regular. That was a revelation. The words people use aren't just language, they're regional culture. Over the next few weeks, I collected phrases like they were rare coins. Black meant no cream, no sugar. Simple. Light and sweet meant a little cream, extra sugar. Extra hot meant you wanted your drink heated more than usual because you were going to sip it slowly. With legs was my favorite. It meant less foam. One barista explained it to me. The foam has legs because it stands up. No legs means flat, more liquid. Make it a double meant add an extra shot of espresso. I learned this one after watching a tired-looking nurse order a large latte, make it a double, at 6 in the morning. The Starbucks challenge. Then came my ultimate test, Starbucks. If regular coffee shops were undergraduate work, Starbucks was graduate school. They had their own complete language system. First, the sizes. Tall, grande, venti, trenta. I felt like I was ordering in Italian, which I guess I was, technically. Then, the customizations. You didn't just ask for things, you specified pumps of syrup, shots of espresso, and whether you wanted things upside down or with whip. I remember standing in line, watching a woman order what sounded like a mathematical equation. Tall soy latte, extra hot, 2 pumps, sugar-free vanilla, light foam, with a sleeve. When it was my turn, I panicked and ordered, just a regular coffee, please. The barista didn't judge me. She just smiled and asked,
What size?
medium?
Grande. Got it. Room for cream?
Yes, please. And just like that, she'd translated my basic order into Starbucks language without making me feel stupid. That's when I learned something important about English-speaking cultures. People are generally helpful. If you're polite and genuine, they'll meet you halfway. About a month into my coffee shop education, something shifted. I walked into my usual place, and without thinking about it, I said, large iced coffee, light ice, leave room. The barista nodded, punched it in, and called out, large iced coffee, light ice. I hadn't rehearsed that. I hadn't translated it in my head. It had just come out naturally. That's when I knew I'd crossed a threshold. The language had moved from my textbook brain to my actual mouth. I was speaking like locals speak, efficiently, clearly, and without overthinking. But coffee shops were just the beginning. The real challenge was still ahead. Restaurants. 6 months after my New York coffee shop adventure, I found myself in Austin, Texas. And let me tell you, ordering food in a Texas diner is a completely different experience from ordering coffee in Manhattan. I walked into this classic American diner called Trudy's. Red vinyl booths, checkered floors, the smell of bacon and coffee in the air. A waitress with big blonde hair and the warmest smile I'd ever seen greeted me. Well, hey there, honey. Just you today? I was taken aback by the immediate friendliness. In New York, interactions were efficient. Here, they were warm. Yes. Just me.
Perfect. Right this way, sweetheart. You just sit anywhere you like.
I sat down, and she handed me a menu the size of a small book. I'm going to give you a minute to look that over, and I'll be right back with some water.
You want coffee, sugar?
Yes, please.
You got it, hon.
She walked away, and I realized something. In the American South, food service is relationship building. The pace is slower. The language is more personal. Terms of endearment like honey, sugar, and sweetheart are normal, even with strangers. The menu was overwhelming. Appetizers, entree, sides, combination plates, breakfast all day, lunch specials. I didn't even know where to start. When the waitress came back with my coffee, she must have seen the confusion on my face because she laughed and said, "First time here? That obvious? Sweetie, I can always tell. What kind of food do you like?" I like everything. Well, you can't go wrong with our chicken fried steak. It's what we're known for. Comes with 2 sides and a roll. Most folks get mashed potatoes and green beans, but you can pick whatever you want. What's chicken fried steak? She didn't make me feel dumb for asking. Instead, she explained, it's beef steak, pounded thin, breaded like fried chicken, and fried up crispy. We smother it in cream gravy. It's not fancy, but it's delicious. Okay, I'll try that. Perfect. And what 2 sides you want with that? Mashed potatoes and green beans, like you said. You want that gravy on the potatoes or on the side? On the side. Those 3 magical words I'd learned at coffee shops. On the side, please. She winked. Smart choice. You can control how much you want. I'll get that right in for you. While I waited for my food, I listened to the conversations around me. A family of 4 was ordering, and the dad was customizing everything. I'll take the burger, medium well. But can you swap the fries for a salad? Sure thing. What dressing? Ranch on the side. His wife ordered next. I'll do the grilled chicken sandwich, no mayo, Add avocado if you have it, and sweet potato fries instead of regular. We absolutely have avocado. No problem at all. Their teenage son. Can I get the quesadilla, but make it with flour tortillas, not corn, and extra sour cream? You got it, sweetie. Nobody blinked at these modifications. The waitress just wrote everything down like it was the most normal thing in the world. That's when I understood. In American restaurants, the customer truly does have the power. You're not just choosing from a menu. You're collaborating on your meal. When my chicken fried steak arrived, it was huge. Like, comically huge. The waitress set it down and said, "There you go, hon. Now be careful, that plate is hot."
Can I get you anything else? A refill on that coffee?
Yes, please. And is this one serving? She laughed.
Welcome to Texas, sugar. We don't do small portions here. If you can't finish it, I'll box it up for you to take home.
This was another cultural insight. American portions are enormous. Don't feel bad about not finishing. Taking food home in a doggy bag or to-go box is completely normal and expected. About 10 minutes into my meal, she came back.
How's that chicken fried steak treating you?
It's really good.
I'm so glad. You need anything at all, you just holler, okay?
Holler?
Just call out for me, honey. I'll hear you.
I loved that. Holler, such a southern word. Near the end of my meal, I needed more water, but I wasn't sure how to get her attention. In my country, we'd wave or try to make eye contact. But I'd noticed that Americans seem to have a different system. I watched another table. When they needed something, they simply caught the server's eye and gave a small hand raise, almost like a half wave. The server immediately came over. I tried it, made eye contact, gave a small wave. She was there in seconds. "What can I do for you, hon? Could I get some more water, please?" "Absolutely. And you ready for the check? Or you want to look at our dessert menu?" This was interesting. She was giving me options without pressure. "Actually, what desserts do you recommend?" "Well, the pecan pie is homemade, and it's my personal favorite. The chocolate cake is also amazing, if you like chocolate. Both come with vanilla ice cream. I'll try the pecan pie." Excellent choice. Paying and leaving. When I finished dessert, I knew I needed the check. But I wasn't sure how to ask. I'd heard different phrases. Check. Bill. Tab. Which one was right? I decided to go with what felt natural. When she came by again, I said, "Could I get the check when you have a chance?" "Of course. I'll grab that for you right now." Those words, "when you have a chance," became one of my favorite phrases. They're polite without being overly formal. They show respect for the other person's time. She brought the check in a little folder. I noticed it said, "Thank you, Jenny," with a smiley face. Her name was Jenny. I'd spent an hour with her and hadn't known her name until the end. The total was $23. I knew about tipping, about 20% in America. I left $30 and wrote, "Keep the change," on the receipt. As I left, Jenny called out, "You come back and see us now." "I will. Thank you, Jenny." Walking out, I felt something different than I'd felt in the coffee shop. In the coffee shop, success meant efficiency. In the restaurant, success meant connection. A few months later, I had a job interview in London, and my potential employer took me to an upscale restaurant. This was a different world entirely. We were seated by a host who said, "Good evening, gentlemen. Right this way, please." The server appeared moments later, and everything about his demeanor was more formal. "Good evening. My name is Oliver, and I'll be looking after you this evening. May I offer you something to drink while you peruse the menu?" Peruse. Not look at. Peruse. I'd learned by now to follow the lead of others, so I watched my interviewer. "I'll have a gin and tonic, please." "And for you, sir?" "Just sparkling water, please."
Still or sparkling?
I panicked for a second. Wasn't sparkling water already sparkling? Then I realized he was asking if I wanted still water or sparkling water. "Sparkling, please." "Excellent." I panicked for a second. Wasn't sparkling water already sparkling? Then I realized he was asking if I wanted still water or sparkling water. "Sparkling, please." "Excellent." The menu was intimidating. It had descriptions like pan-seared scallops with cauliflower puree, pancetta crisps and brown butter reduction, and slow-roasted lamb shoulder with heritage carrots, mint peas, and red wine juice. I had no idea what half of these words meant. Juice? Reduction? Puree? My interviewer noticed my hesitation. "First time here?" "First time at this type of restaurant, honestly." He smiled. "The lamb is excellent. So is the sea bass. You can't really go wrong." When Oliver returned, my interviewer ordered first, and I paid close attention to his phrasing. "I'll start with the beef carpaccio, and for the main, I'll have the lamb, medium rare, please." My turn. I tried to match his tone. "I'll have the burrata to start, and the sea bass for the main. Excellent choices. And how would you like your sea bass prepared? I had no idea there were options. What do you recommend? The crispy skin is quite popular. I'd recommend that. Perfect, thank you. Crisis averted. When you don't know, ask. Always ask. Over the next 90 minutes, I learned the rhythm of fine dining. The courses came slowly. Oliver appeared and disappeared like a ghost, always exactly when we needed him, never intrusive. Between courses, my interviewer gave me a piece of advice I've never forgotten. In places like this, don't be intimidated. At the end of the day, they're here to make sure you have a good experience. If you don't understand something, ask. If you want something changed, request it. Confidence, not arrogance. That advice changed how I approached every restaurant experience after that. Over the years, I collected stories and strategies from all the places I lived and visited. New York taught me efficiency. Texas taught me warmth. London taught me formality. But there were patterns underneath it all. Secrets that locals knew instinctively, but that I had to learn the hard way. I learned that America isn't one culture, it's 50 different ones. In Seattle, I discovered that people order coffee like they're composing poetry. I'll have a double tall, half CAF, non-fat, extra foam, 2-pump, no-whip mocha. And the barista just nods. In New Orleans, I learned that you don't order a po' boy sandwich. You order a po' boy because it's already assumed to be a sandwich. And you specify dressed if you want lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, and mayo. In Boston, I accidentally ordered iced coffee in January and got weird looks. Apparently, frozen coffee drinks in winter are a tourist move. In California, I learned that half the population has dietary restrictions, and restaurants are incredibly accommodating. Gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, no problem. Let me tell you about the time I accidentally ordered way too much food. I was at a steakhouse in Chicago with some colleagues. The waiter came over and started listing appetizers. I said, "I'll have the shrimp cocktail." My colleague kicked me under the table. Later, she whispered, "You know that's for sharing, right? Each appetizer here serves like 4 people." I did not know that. We ended up with enough shrimp for a small army. Lesson learned. At fancy restaurants or steakhouses, appetizers and sides are often family style, meant to be shared. Always check portion sizes or ask. Then there was my first drive-thru experience. I pulled up to the speaker at McDonald's, and a crackly voice said, "Welcome to McDonald's. What can I get started for you?" I froze. Something about the speaker, the pressure, the car behind me. I couldn't think. Hello?
Hi. What would you like today?
Can I get a hamburger?
A hamburger or a cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger, sorry.
No problem. Anything else?
And fries?
What size fries?
Medium?
Great. Anything to drink?
Coke, please.
What size?
Also medium?
Perfect. That'll be $8.47. Pull up to the first window.
I felt like I'd just survived an interrogation. But after a few times, I learned the rhythm. Have your order ready. Speak clearly. Don't overthink it. The speaker is crackly for everyone, not just non-native speakers. After living in the same neighborhood for a year, something magical happened. I walked into my regular coffee shop, and before I reached the counter, the barista called out,
Large iced coffee, light ice, room for cream.
I smiled. You know it. That moment, that recognition, that's what being a local really means. It's not about perfect English. It's about being part of the community's daily rhythm. Through all my experiences, I learned some universal truths about ordering food in English. 1. Eye contact and a smile go further than perfect grammar. 2. Please and thank you are never optional. 3. When you don't know, asking is not weakness. It's confidence. 4. Customization is your friend. Make the meal yours. 5. Locals aren't judging you. They're usually just thinking about their own order. 6. Speed matters in casual places. Conversation matters in sit-down places. Read the room. 7. Tipping in America is not optional. It's how servers make their living. 20% is standard. 8. If something's wrong with your food, speak up politely. Restaurants want you to be happy. 9. You don't have to finish everything. Taking food home is normal. 10. The phrase, "when you get a chance," is magic. Use it liberally. Last month, I was back in that same Manhattan coffee shop where my journey began. The original barista, the one who'd asked me, "So, a regular?" all those years ago, was still there. I walked up to the counter, and without missing a beat, I said, "Large regular to go." He made it, handed it over, and said, $4.50. As I paid, he looked at me more closely. "Hey, You've been coming here a while, right? About 5 years now. I remember you. You used to order really formally, like full sentences. I laughed. I did. I was terrified. You sound like you're from here now. And that, right there, was the greatest compliment I'd ever received. So that's my story. From I would like to order 1 medium-sized coffee with cream and sugar to large regular to go in 5 years. But here's the thing. Your journey doesn't have to take 5 years because you now have something I didn't have. A roadmap. You know about regional differences. You know the shortcuts. You know the cultural expectations. You know that customization is normal, that asking questions is fine, and that on the side is one of the most useful phrases in the English language. Most importantly, you know that sounding like a local isn't about memorizing phrases. It's about understanding the rhythm, the culture, the unspoken rules. This week, I want you to do one thing. Order something in English. Use the phrases we talked about. Can I get, or I'll have, or make it. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for connection. Because that's what food and language are really about. Connecting with people, becoming part of the community, feeling like you belong. Then come tell me how it went. Find us on social media. Leave a review. Visit our website. I want to hear your coffee shop stories, your restaurant adventures, your victories, and your funny mistakes. Because we're all learning together. If this episode helped you, please subscribe and share it with someone else who's learning English. Every share helps us reach more people who are on this same journey. Next week, we're diving into another real-life situation. Small talk in English, the art of saying nothing perfectly. Trust me, it's going to be good. Until then, keep ordering, keep practicing, and remember, you belong in that coffee shop just as much as anyone else. I'm your host, and this has been English in Real Life.